So welcome to this tutorial on the winter menu planner. This is a way just to kind of mix up your seasons. So there will be coming out one of these for every season, just because I feel like what you plan for your winter meals is very different than what you might plan for your summer meals and even spring and fall. You know, your palate changes, your willingness to spend time in the kitchen changes. So I wanted to come out with a line of seasonal menu planners, and this is the first one. And this is winter. So it's meant for a 3-month season. So even though winter starts in December, I consider December the holiday season. So that will be in a holiday menu planner, where I consider winter more of January, February, and partially into March. So you'll see some overlap with the spring planner in March, because your palate does start to change, but depending on where you are in the country, March could be a pretty brutal month and you may still want those warm comfort foods. So January, February, March are where is covered in the meal planner. And let's dive into how do you use it. So again, if you hit the Home tab, you'll wind up on this Quick Notes page. This Quick Note page is where you will find just a spot to jot down ideas. So if you come across a recipe you really want, you can copy the link in here. You could just write down a few quick notes. Maybe there's something you need to run at a grocery store and you wanted to jot down a note here so you don't forget it. So that Quick Notes page you'll find in almost all of my planners. It's just a quick place to drop notes. It always has a place to email me, a quick link to the Etsy shop, quick link to the website, and a link to the blog post of the part of the website where there's a lot of how-tos. So you always find that here on the Home tab, and you can always just, again, it's a spot to just drop those quick notes. The next tab will bring you to the tutorial, which is what we're recording right now. So obviously you are not going to see that just yet because I'm recording it. This notebook is formatted for the Hub Notebook system. So if you don't know what that's about, you can learn more here. You can watch the video and learn how to use the Hub Notebook system if you would prefer. And now we'll dive into it. So under the groceries tab, you'll find here, there's 2 different kinds of grocery lists. One is just an open format and one is by category. Again, it's up to your preference. And what I like about this is you can take, this is the GoodNotes app. The GoodNotes app is also great on your phone, so you can fill this out on your iPad, then reference it on your phone, or take a quick screenshot and look at your camera roll and reference it that way. So this is a great way to write just some quick things down the grocery list. If you need a more open format, you could use this. So you'll find both those formats in the groceries tab. So that's kind of just the background, but now let's get into the heart of this. So if you hit the categories tab, it will take you to this page where I've given you room for 6 categories of food. So what is a category? In the winter, this might be Instant Pot or slow cookers. So you might be whipping out the crock pot and you have a whole bunch of recipes for that. You may have some roasts. Maybe you do some big heartier cuts of meat in the winter. So you want one maybe on roast, or maybe this is just on beef and this one's on chicken. You really can kind of come up with any category you want. Sheet pans, you could do decadent desserts, quick meals. It's really up to you as to what these categories are, which is why they're very loose and very open. And when you get into a category, so you click on any letter and it will take you to the corresponding letter here. So here's your index where you get to write down what that category equals, and then you can obviously jot it down here again. And there's a limited number here. I don't want you to go crazy when you're doing this. So for every category, there's 10 lines. And you may only need 3 or 4 in each category, because we're going to go later and fill this into your menu matrix. But over here, you're just going to jot down. So if you have maybe 5 or 6 casseroles that you love, and then maybe it's 5 or 6 beef dishes, stew types, and then maybe you have the whole crock pot type of thing here, the slow cookers, what you like to do there. So it's really, maybe it's quick meals and you have some quick warm things. Maybe you have a whole thing of just soups because you love soups. So that's what this is for. Each category is to come up with your go-to items in those areas. Again, don't go crazy. I've given you up to 10 because one category you may have, say you have a ton of casseroles that you really like to use, but in other categories you might have 3 or 4 items. So you don't need to fill in 10 lines just because they're all here. I'm just giving you that. So you have 7 categories. And how are they going to work? So you're going to plug them in to your tab. So if you click on the corresponding month, you'll come up with this monthly calendar. And here's where you can write in what you're going to be cooking for that meal. And remember, you can always make the box bigger to do your writing and then shrink it back to normal size. So don't worry about the fact that they're small on the screen. I had to get them all on there, and some weeks you needed that extra week depending on the calendar. So this is undated, but you might want to go through, okay, Mondays are, you might be doing meatless Mondays, or you might be doing Mexican Mondays. So you're writing in what you're doing here. Maybe it's crock pot Sundays, and so you're doing the slow cookers here. Maybe it's, the roast or something that takes a little while on the Saturdays. So you're going to kind of come up with a thing going by your category. So maybe on casseroles, you do casseroles every Thursday or something. So you might go to your list refer to the casseroles that you have, and then come back here and just put in what you want. Or you may just say, you know, this is a taco or a Mexican day, this is a slow pot day, this is a sheet pan day. And then when that day comes around, you might go back then and say, okay, which sheet pan menu do I want to make? But I would recommend at least plan a week ahead so you could fill in your matrix with your type of meal for the whole month. So, you know, maybe it's Pizza Friday and every Friday you have pizza. That's kind of what I do. Or every Saturday is a flex. It's anything you want, or it's leftovers, or it's going out. So you can fill in this pattern and then actually fill in the actual item idea just for the week. So it's up to you how far in advance. You could fill it out for the whole month, and that's what I've been playing with, is getting the whole matrix filled out for the month. So I know everything I'm going to eat, and I've based it on some categories. So I'm just switching into my winter categories now, into my fall categories at the time of recording, but when you see this, you'll be switching into your winter categories. So you're going to fill in your matrix for each month, and you can reuse the month. So if you really like a particular week, you can copy and paste it, drop it into February. Maybe you find in March your tastes are starting to change, so you might change your matrix a little bit more towards the end of March, but you're going to pull it off from your categories. And then over here on the recipes tab, you have a chance to put in some recipes. So if it's not something you've already got memorized, you could fill this in and again, make as many copies of this page. There's only one in here because I wanted to make this file lighter, but you can just copy as many of these pages for each recipe that you want. So that's all here in the recipe book. And if you'd like a more hearty recipe, there is a companion guide, which is the Winter Recipe Guide. And this one allows you the same concept. So you'll see the same similar pages, but in this one, you have 5 categories of different recipes. So it could be breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or it could be chicken, beef, fish, vegetarian, whatever. I mean, it's up to you to come up with your categories here. But then you have some more room. So you'd write your category here on the index, and then you could write it again here. And then you're just going to insert your pages. So when you go to pages, we'll get back to, you have all these covers. And then when you get to pages, you can put in a typical ingredients page, or you have these other more open layouts depending on how you like to write your recipes. So you have these pages as well to pop into your recipes. So you just copy and paste each page into the recipe that you want based on the category. So this is a more robust recipe than just here. So here you have one tab for recipes, and they would all be kind of combined together. Or you can, again, go with this winter recipe book, which is all going to be a chance for you to have more elaborate recipes, more of them. So these could be all your winter recipes. Again, categorize them any way you wish. And if you're using the Hub Notebook system, you can nestle that right in there if you want. You can nestle the entire cookbook or your entire recipe book right behind this tab, which is very cool. And that's why I like the Hub Notebook system. So if you don't know anything about that, you'll want to watch the videos on how that works, and then it allows you to combine notebooks. So you'll find both notebooks in the shop, and you can do what you want to. You can use just one, you can use both, really up to you. I've set it up that way. So I think this is a really fun way to do your recipes. I find it takes a lot of the thinking out of the day, especially when you come home from work and you're just tired, or Sunday rolls around and you have no idea what you want to do. By having a formula, a meal formula, and you can change it obviously, but I like to just say, okay, Friday is going to be some version of pizza, whether it's pizza bagels or frozen pizza, or we order pizza. It just makes it easy. I don't have to think about what I'm going to have on Friday. On Sundays, we've been doing breakfast for dinner. So we're having pancakes, and then maybe we have waffles. And it's like the ingredients are kind of the same. We're taking the pancake mix and just putting it in different ways. And then maybe we'll throw some eggs in here. But we keep it pretty basic, and we repeat often. And so, and I don't even need a recipe, obviously. Waffles, pancakes, don't really need a recipe for that. So it just makes it easy. I write breakfast for dinner, and I can go in the cupboard and here's what I have. And then you can jump to the grocery list anytime you need to. That as you're starting to write out your menus, you're like, oh, I'm really low on pancake mix, so I better go put that on my groceries tab. So this is a great way to have it all in one spot. And then again, you have the recipes if it's something that you're new and you're trying out. And what I've done with recipes, which I kind of like, is I'll take a snapshot. I'll go, say I'm on Pinterest or somewhere, and I find a recipe I like. I take a screenshot and I just drop it in over this page, and then I just copy a new page. So that's a kind of a fun way to have recipes here without having to rewrite the whole thing. So you just copy, paste, drop the picture. So you go to your camera roll, drop the picture of your screenshot right on this page, and now you have a chance to put recipes right here, which I like that as a nice cheat sheet. And then if I like the recipe, maybe I will format it nice and pretty for me. If I don't like the recipe, I just delete the picture and I move on. So it's a fun way to use your recipe tab. And again, if you're using this recipe notebook, then you have couple different page styles you can use, and one of them is this blank page where you could just drop the recipe right in here on the blank page, and go. So it's up to you how you want to use it. Drop it on the dot matrix page, whatever you want to do. So I try to make these very flexible for however you plan your meals and however you like to think things out. But I find that this makes it so much easier. And then you'll realize is that, okay, when March is over, you're ready for a whole new menu. So you'll go into the spring menu planner and you'll change your dishes. You're not going to want to have the same, crock pot meals are going to kind of go away, but maybe your Pizza Fridays stay. And maybe you're switching over to some more lighter dishes, or maybe more soups or something like that come April or something like that. So that's why I want you to be thinking seasonally. You only have to come up with 3 months of menus. You don't have to do it all at once, but come up with a pattern and use your category pages as a way to get organized and then make this so simple. Menu planning does not have to be hard. I've focused on dinner here, but you can, if you want to, you can have multiple meals. You can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner and make your categories, follow those suits. It's up to you. I just find that my breakfast and my lunch are pretty standard. I don't change them. I only change up my dinner. So that's what this is based on. But again, it's open format. You can do it any way you want. So I hope that answers your questions. And as always, you can email me. So if you go right to the homepage, you can always email me anytime. I'm happy to answer your questions regarding how to use this meal guide. And I hope that you have a great winter season and you don't dread it. You have some great food. So we'll talk to you next time.